started in my co-founder Ryan's kitchen. Actually, when we were looking for space, that was really the only viable place, because that was actually one of our home. Working out of your kitchen can only work so long. So I mean, the decision to move into an actual workspace was quite immediate for us.
I spent a number of years living abroad. I lived in New Zealand, Hong Kong, and London, England. And I've seen both where I lived and where I traveled to, sort of what downtowns can be. And when I returned in 2013 and saw sort of what was happening in downtown Kitchener, is very different than when I moved away. And we're seeing this real sort of community building, downtown revitalization that it's not unlike most European cities.
If you would have asked folks 10 years ago if they wanted to work or live in an old factory that could be converted into a loft, people would have thought you were crazy. And you sort of fast forward to today, and it's the most in-demand space you could possibly find. Most of our big factories have been converted over either to loft condos or loft office space, and there's only a few left.
They're buildings that have been around for 100 years or 80 years. There's character. The floor is not new, and every mark on that floor is a story.
This really is the only large block of brick and beam space on the market. If you want a couple thousand square feet, you can find it. If you want 10, 20, 30,000, it just doesn't exist on the market.
Where we're turning our attention to now is floors above retail spaces. So if you're to look up and down King Street, that traditional building stock where you've got a shop or a restaurant on the ground floor and you've got 2 floors above. What people don't realize is that those buildings have the exact same kind of character that you find in the factory buildings, because they're all built in the same era.
What makes it cool is that, no cubicles, right? You have to have a space that really is, sort of more contemporary. Accessibility and community is one of our key aspects when we're looking for space. This space is close to the Communitech and Velocity as well. It's within walking distance, and having the entrepreneurs, all around us, for us to be immersed in, is really what we wanted.
One of our key goals is to make sure that when a company is in growth mode and they outgrow their space, that there's another space ready for them to move into, so that their investor, who may be from California or from the States or even from Toronto, says, hey, why don't you come to Toronto? We've got lots of office space that we can find you. We want to avoid that situation. We want them to stay local if we can.
The traditional occupiers do not double in size in a year. The tech companies do sometimes. If you get an injection of a VC for $25 million, you can ramp up your growth, and the physical real estate should not constrain you.
Startups grow at a very fast pace, and often you actually can outpace the current office that you're at. You can grow past that. And for us, it's really crucial to not only find a partner who can provide us with a short-term lease, but also find a partner who can actually reallocate us within the portfolio into some of their bigger spaces.
Yeah, so we offer a program where any startup that's in growth mode, if they want to take over one of these spaces, we'll actually help them with $20,000 per floor as a way of enabling them to take an older building and turn it into something really cool. So our ideal would be to have all of these upper floors that are currently sitting empty or underused filled with companies that could be, traditional tech companies, could be software, or could be creative. We'd actually prefer a mix of those types of companies.
The growth of space is a little harder to predict than the growth of demand. It seems plainly obvious to me that demand in the core is going to outstrip supply for the foreseeable future.